Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Shadowhunters, episode 311, titled Lost Souls, which premiered Monday, February 25th, 2019 on Freeform. I'm recording on the 26th, so the day after, because I watch it on Netflix. So, huge spoiler alert, guys. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. This is it. This is 3B. It is the last 12 episodes of the series. Anything goes here, guys. Like, really, anything goes. So I'm excited that it's finally back. It feels like it's been forever since we've seen 310. I'll try to do this in 15 minutes. Because it's the premiere, I want to get this out there. So let's start the clock. Let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline wise, in the episode specifically, during the scene with Luke and Jace, Luke had said that it's been 3 days since the explosion at the apartment, which took place at the end of 310. So there's that. Episode reminder, I'm pretty much going to say the aftermath of 310. We get to see all the different characters try to reel with what happened with the explosion at Lilith's apartment, about expelling the owl from Jace, and just like all these little bits and pieces that are connected. Now, the first moment of the episode is we kick off right in the action with Jace, Alec, and Izzy hunting down a Sealy escapee from the guard. Because as you remember, when Clary was stuck in the guard, there was a whole bunch of criminals that escaped, if I remember correctly. So there's that. Anyways, episode breakdown, storylines. I picked up on 4 different ones. I have a feeling that 3 of the 4 of them are going to be appearing a lot for the next few episodes. But anyways, first storyline I'm going to call Siberia, and this pretty much deals with Clary coming to realize just what situation she's stuck in with her brother Jonathan, who now has his true face with him. So there's that. Second storyline is stopping Iris Rouse. She has come back to take Madsy away with her. And she's willing to fight Magnus, Alec, and the rest of them for the little warlock. So there's that. Third storyline is removing the Mark Arcane. Simon is determined now more than ever after what happened with Clary to get rid of the Mark. So he gets the location of Raphael, who is in Detroit now, and he tries to get some answers from him. Raphael doesn't know anything, but he does lead Simon to the possibility or the legend of the oldest possible vampire living in the sewers of New York. And if anyone's going to know anything about the Mark of Cain, Raphael thinks that this vampire would know. So Simon's now on that mission there. Fourth storyline is searching for answers, and this is in particular to Luke believing that Clary is still alive, and he has the theory that he shares with Jace about the fact that he doesn't think she's dead. Lilith could have done some interdimensional transportation thing before the explosion went off that could have saved Clary before everything went kaboom. So he's trying to convince Jace of how real his theory is by giving him information to have him cross-check it at the Institute's database. So there's that. Last moments of the episode show Clary really realizing what situation she's stuck in with Jonathan, because she pretty much tries to kill him, but in doing so, she harms herself as well, because they are really connected. What happens to one happens to the other. So if she dies, he dies, and vice versa. So it's just really honing into her what Lilith told her at the end of 310. So there's that. Character-wise, I got a bunch of little things for each character, but for Magnus, he's struggling with the fact that he has no powers now, since he traded those in to help expel the owl from Jace. With Clary, we see that she has been pardoned for her crimes against the Clave. Consul Pinhollow did this posthumously, so Clary doesn't know that she's been pardoned, but the Institute does. So there's that. Jonathan, he keeps telling Clary that he wants to prove to her that he can change, that he wants to change, and that if there's a part of her that's good, then there has to be a part of him that's good as well. And so he kind of wants to prove that to her. Don't know if he's going to be as open to do so after the stunt she just pulled, but we'll have to see. Also, Maya returns after her time alone in her hometown in Ocean City. So there's that. She also claims that she didn't leave because of Simon, but just to clear her head type of thing. Although Simon thinks it was pretty crappy timing for that to happen, considering everything that's happened to him. Which leads to Jason and Simon both struggling in this episode with Clary's death, and both of them blaming themselves for it. So there's that. With Luke, we see that he has been away from the pack to clear his head and mostly diving into his investigation of what could have truly happened to Clary. Consul Pinhollow, we do see her coming back to not only pardon Clary, but also kind of tell Alec that she's keeping an eye on him because of his insubordination, I think it was. Even though everyone in Alicante views the Institute as heroes for stopping Lilith, so that war heroes, I guess. So Penhollow is not really going to do anything to kind of jeopardize that political fight there. But we do get information about Ollie and Samantha, and we find out that they don't remember anything about the Shadow World and that they have been relocated. I'm so happy for this. Those two were just so annoying to me. They just kept popping up where it was just made no sense, or it was just not logical for any self-preservating person out there. So anyways, moving on to runes though. We do get the healing rune. I think that's the Aratsi rune. It's been so long I don't even remember the rune names. But Jonathan used this on himself when Clary kind of tried to kill him. And in doing so, it healed Clary as well. Which is a little weird. Which does bring me a question later on. I hope I remember it afterwards. But anyways, also, I don't know if this is a rune or not. But the scar that Lilith placed on Clary to connect her to Jonathan, is that a rune kind of similar to like the Parabatai rune, or is that more of like an aftermath scar due to the ritualistic effects of Jonathan's resurrection? Because I'm wondering if it's an actual rune that just needs to be healed, or if it's just something she just scarred into them to truly connect the two together. I don't know, but that's something there. That's a question right there. But tidbit-wise, though, we do find out that Lilith has gone back to Edom. Jonathan thinks that is where she truly belongs. Also, we find out that Lilith had spelled the apartment for it to travel anywhere. We did see her do this previously beforehand, but we didn't know if it actually was the apartment itself she spelled, or if it's just her moving and just whatever vicinity she was in that moved with her. But we do get Jonathan telling Clary that Lilith had spelled the apartment and got them to Siberia for their safety, and now they can use the apartment to go anywhere they want around the world. And Jonathan suggests going to Paris because Clary has always wanted to go there since she was a little girl. Again, I don't remember how he knows that, though. So there's that. Also, in this episode, Izzy has been getting reports from her interrogations about all the prisoners in the guard having been tortured, even though torture has been outlawed 100 years ago by the Clave. So there's that. Also, Consul Penhollow kind of denies such claims when Izzy brings it up to her. So there's that. Also, in regards to that, we do see the Sealy escapee that Jace, Alec, and Izzy were hunting down in the first scene of the episode. We do see him not only taken away, but he's not taken to the guard, and he gets injected with something that kind of causes him to light up from the inside. I don't know if it kills him or if it's another experiment in the making, but it doesn't look like it's going so well for the Sealy there. So there is that. Moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I will have to say, initially Clary's attempt to kill Jonathan surprised me. Not in the fact that she tried to kill him, but the way she tried to do it. The fact that she took a simple kitchen knife or utensil, or like I would use to cut my steak. She used a simple knife like that, and she thrust the thing up into Jonathan's jaw where it's poking out in his mouth. It's like with such force like that, and just enough momentum. I wasn't expecting that at all. I mean, she pulled a Dean Winchester when he did the same move when he killed Zachariah back in season 5 of Supernatural. It was unexpected. And then to also have the same thing happen to her moments afterwards, I kind of figured because of Lilith's words, but still to actually have it happen before your eyes was it was a surprise there that kind of threw me. Also, another shocking thing I would have to say, it was more like an overall feeling, is the fact that I'm very conflicted about Jonathan. I mean, on the one hand, I know he's evil, he should not be trusted, and like Clary should try to do as much as she can to get rid of him and like be far away from him. But then on the other hand, he says these things and it really has me questioning, well, is he actually being truthful? Is this actually how he feels? Like when he tells her saying like, you're my sister, I want to protect you, you're the only family I have left, and like he seems genuine in the fact that he wants to preserve what family he has left. In that moment, I'm thinking, was he actually true? I really want it to be true because I want him to turn over a new leaf. But then at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know if he's just playing her and manipulating her and trying to bring her to a false sense of security. So my shock there is how much confliction I have over Jonathan. So it's just, there's that. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments. First one has to be the fight scene, specifically in that first scene of the episode where we get when we get Jace against the Seelie warrior. Pretty cool fight scene. It was very interesting to see a little bit of magic going in there with like the weapons and such. I was kind of hoping that Jace would tap into that pure angel blood in there with like when his eyes turn color and stuff, but we didn't get that. But it was very interesting to see him fighting again, because for a while in 3A he was the owl. So it's great to see him just be Jace again. So there's that. Another thing I really liked is the fact that we get Alec and Izzy giving their individual support to Jace. They had their moments where they were talking to him separately, trying to tell him that, like, we're here for you if you need us. We understand that you're grieving over Clary, and we can never understand specifically what that is like. But just to see the 3 of them bonding in such a sense, or to give out their support, not only brings out emotions, but it also, I really like it. It reconfirms the bond between the 3 of them. So there's that. I specifically like the moment between Clary and between Jason and Izzy when they're talking about Clary. Just the conviction between the 2 of them, how Izzy even says, like, there's not a moment that goes by that I don't think about her, type of thing. And then Alec trying to tell Jace later on that he can't be so reckless. He can't do things that would disgrace Clary's memory, or he can't be reckless enough that if he manages to harm himself, he's forgetting the fact that that's going to harm Alec too, type of thing. So it's just very interesting to get the 2 different types of support conversations. Also, another favorite of mine has to be all the montages we got, specifically the grieving montages we got to see with Simon remembering Clary, with Magnus remembering Clary, and then with Jace remembering Clary. All those 3 ended up bringing tears to my eyes. It punched, and it really packed an emotional punch during those moments. It just really solidified even more how much she meant to these 3 individuals. In all different aspects as well too. And then also we got a little bit of a montage when we were diving into Magnus's memories as well. So it was very interesting to see those bits of flashes there. So that was pretty cool. So there's that. And finally, the last favorite I had was Alec and Magnus, specifically Alec supporting Magnus in his struggles to live without his powers, and just reaffirming to Magnus that he's not just his powers, he's so much more than that. So it was just really great to see that dynamic there. All right, moving to top 3 peeve moments. I only have 2. First one being, I didn't really like the fact that Izzy told Consul Penhollow about her findings during the interrogations. I felt like she should have stalled on bringing up those accusations to her, especially if you're suspecting her to be in the know of these illegal torturings. I feel like now that she's told him, she's kind of showed her hand, and now Penhollow could do more to cover her tracks if she's actually a part of it, which might be the case since the Seelie escapee wasn't taken to the guard after he left the Institute. So that was a peeve there. I feel like now she's given the enemy the upper hand on the fact that, well, I've realized this and now I'm coming after you, type of thing, without realizing that you just told the other person you're coming after them. So that was a peeve there. Also, another peeve that I had was the fact that Maya isn't going with Simon to find the oldest vampire in the New York sewers. I mean, she claims that it's because it wouldn't really be ideal for a werewolf to tag along and try to sweet talk the oldest vampire, given the feud between the 2 species. But I feel like if she wanted to be there for Simon, she would have been there for him. She would have gone into the sewers, and then maybe at the last moment before actually confronting the vampire, she would have like stepped away, or maybe she would have kept her distance a little farther but still be there for Simon. Or if anything, she could have run comms on the street and like still been in communication with Simon as he looks for the vampire, instead of now taking a back seat. It seems like she's tapping out and like say like, okay, go with Izzy instead. It's just like, it seems like for her to just come back and she not to be there when Simon lost his family, when Simon lost Clary, and then now when he needs someone to be there for him, when he's trying to find a way to get rid of this thing that's like destroying his life, she's not going to be there for him. It's just, it seems like she's trying to pull away, and it's just like she's making all these excuses where like, if it was really an issue that a vampire and a werewolf should be together, then why are you with Simon to begin with? So that was a whole peeve there. It just felt like this whole episode, it just highlighted the distance between the two of them even more so now. So there's that. Moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode, this being the explosive aftermath of the events of 310. The fact that this is the 3B premiere as well will be a reminder there. But there's the timer. Wow, that was a lot faster than I thought. But random questions very quickly. I did mention beforehand that there's going to be storylines I think will span over multiple episodes. Specifically, 1 being the search for Clary, 2 being Simon trying to remove the mark of Cain, and 3 being the investigation into the guard's mistreatment of its prisoners. I feel like the way they set it up in this episode, it's those specific storylines are going to be the ones that trail and trickle between the episodes until some sort of a culmination happens. I wonder if you guys feel the same way about that. Also, actual question would be, if Clary can't kill Jonathan, that is the only way for her to be free of him would be to find a way to either sever the bond Lilith has forged between the two of them, or would she have to entomb Jonathan somehow and keep him alive until at a set time where she's old and gray, or where she ends up dying in the field or something, and he dies with her or something. I don't know. It definitely seems like it's a very tricky situation. Like, they really are joined at the hip now, pretty much. So there's that question there. And I'm pretty sure I forgot the question I originally had. Like, fudge. Yep, I'm pretty sure I forgot the question now. Damn it. I was afraid I was going to do that. But another question was, did anyone else get the feeling that Maya could be breaking up with Simon soon? That was an issue right there. Especially when she's just coming back and she's finding out she wasn't here for all these major things that happened to Simon, or that negatively affected Simon. Then it kind of seems like that. Oh, I remember the question. Okay. Last question was the fact that if if Clary and Jonathan are connected to the fact that if one gets hurt and then the other one gets hurt as well, then is it possible that their powers are also connected now as well? So does that mean that Clary can tap into the power Jonathan gets from the demon blood, and Jonathan can tap into the power that Clary gets with the pure angel blood? That's what I was wondering about. Because then if that's the case, then they truly are like two puzzle pieces that really fit together, of like the best of both worlds. You get one getting powered by the angel blood, one getting powered by the demon blood, yet both having access to it. So I'm wondering if that's the case. Plus, I'm also wondering if the fact that if they are joined to the fact that if one gets hurt, the other one does as well. I'm wondering if the same thing would happen. If any pure influences from Clary would seep into Jonathan, or if any dark influences for Jonathan would seep into Clary, type of thing. So I'm wondering about that as well. I'm very excited to see how that bond could progress, while also figuring out how she's going to try to escape from it. Or if at any point in time she's even going to want to. Because, right, if the dark influence of what I'm suspecting does take its toll, then maybe. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, moving on to predictions very quickly. I checked out the promo for 312, and it looks like we get Magnus getting trained by Alec. Some flirting happens as well. But also we see Jason and Luke heading to Siberia. It seems like they've gotten a trail on Clary, although they seem to be steps behind. And then we also see in Paris, we see Clary changing her hair to that very short black bob, and she's offering to give Jonathan a chance. And then we also see Simon confronting the oldest vampire, possibly, about the Mark of Cain, but he ends up in the Sealy court later on. So there's that. But based off the synopsis for the episode, it reads that Simon is determined to get rid of the Mark of Cain, and with Isabel's help, tries to track down New York's oldest vampire to get more information on the Mark. Now in Paris, Clary desperately tries to find an escape from her current situation. Meanwhile, with his new sense of mortality, Magnus tries to live life to the very fullest. With that said, that's another question itself. Without his powers, is Magnus a simple human now where he just has the regular human lifespan? With no powers, no advancements whatsoever, or is he still a warlock just without his powers, meaning that he still has his immortality intact? That's what I'm wondering there. But otherwise, no previews were given out at this point, but that's about it. What did you guys think of this episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and predictions about all of that. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel. Check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, news, all that good stuff. All found in one place. Go check that out. I am behind for Shadowhunters for sure. I definitely have to get right back into that. So keep an open mind for that. Also, WordPress account link for that is down below. Anything I post online is connected to my WordPress account. It's a little more organized, a little more detailed, but it's still a work in progress, so be kind about that. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. I'm also wondering about whether or not I should do a video for each episode, or if I should chunk it together and have 2 episodes in one video. If you have any thoughts about that, let me know in the comments down below. If anything, I'll take it in advisement, but if not, it's truly up to my schedule around my my personal life, I guess you could say, or my work life, depending on how you say it. But yeah, so there's that. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next time to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.